My beloved child, come closer now. Lean your heart toward these words, for they are not ordinary. They are not casual. They are not something you stumbled upon by accident. No, heaven is too intentional for that. I speak to you now as a father speaks to the child he dearly loves, the child he refuses to lose, the child he refuses to watch wander away into the shadows. Listen with your soul, not just your ears. For a great stirring has taken place, and it concerns you. My beloved child, Archangel Michael, yes, the mighty one, the defender, the keeper of battles unseen, has been in tears. Tears that burn like fire, yet fall like rain. Tears not of weakness, but of agony, for he has been trying to reach you for hours. Hours in heaven are not like hours on earth. They carry weight. They carry urgency. They carry divine intention. Something has been circling your life, something that heaven wants you to see, something that Michael himself has been trying to warn you about. But you have been distracted. Not because you are stubborn, not because you are rebellious, but because life's noise has been too loud around you. You have been trying to survive, trying to breathe, trying to keep your heart from breaking open. And in the middle of all this, the gentle knock from heaven has grown softer and softer until Michael's tears began to fall. My child, the glory around him trembles when he cries. The heavens feel the shaking. The golden air grows still because if an archangel weeps, something serious is taking place. And today, this moment, this very instant, heaven is leaning toward you, trembling with urgency, holding its breath, waiting to see if you will finally listen. Michael has been trying to warn you. He has stood beside your bed. He has whispered into your rest. He has stirred your spirit while you were distracted. He has placed signs before your eyes, signs you brushed off as coincidence. He even touched your shoulder in a moment you felt chills rise through your skin. But the distractions around you drowned out the meaning behind those touches. And now, this is the final chance. Not because God is harsh, no, my child, but because the season is shifting. The door of one chapter is closing, and the next doorway is not one you can enter half asleep. Michael has been trying to awaken you, shake you gently, pull you back from something unseen. And now heaven has guided you here, to these very words. This message is not a video, it is a lifeline. My beloved child, hear this. If you ignore this warning again, you will regret it deeply. Not because doom will strike you, but because you will miss what heaven has been trying to give you. This is the moment heaven has been preparing for. This is the breath of prophecy touching your soul. This is Michael's trembling plea reaching your heart. My beloved child, come a little closer now, for the weight of the next part is holy. Let your heart settle. Let your spirit breathe. There are things I must tell you that cannot be rushed, things that must be spoken with the tenderness of heaven and the seriousness of a father who refuses to let you slip away into danger unseen. The heavens have been stirring around your life, and you may have felt it without understanding what it meant. A shift in the wind of your spirit, a heaviness in the middle of the night, a sudden emotion you could not explain. These were not random. These were not accidents. These were the echoes of Archangel Michael's warning, ripples of a message trying to reach you long before you found these words. My beloved child, the realm above you is alive. It breathes, it moves, it watches, it responds. When the heavens begin to stir, it is never without reason. Something has been forming around you, something that required the attention of the one who stands at the forefront of heaven's armies. Michael does not move without command. He does not speak without purpose. When he rises, realms shake. When he lifts his voice, the shadows draw back. And when he weeps, my child, it means the battle around your life has taken a turn so urgent that heaven itself is calling your name. You must understand this. Spiritual warnings do not come in thunder firsts. They come in whispers. They come in gentle waves. They come in small nudges that grow stronger the more they are ignored. Perhaps you have felt something unsettled in your spirit. Perhaps your dreams have been strange lately, or your mind has been restless. Perhaps you have felt watched over, or felt a presence near you. These were not illusions. These were not your imagination. These were the signs that the heavens had begun to move around you. Michael's warning did not begin today. It did not begin yesterday. It began the moment the atmosphere around your life shifted. Something approached your path. Something not meant to touch you. Something not meant to influence your direction. The kingdom of darkness saw a window, a moment of vulnerability. The distractions, the pain, the confusion you have been carrying created a small opening. And if heaven had remained silent, that opening would have grown wider. But heaven does not stay silent when its beloved child is in danger. My child, this is why the stirring began. This is why the air around you felt heavy these past days. This is why you felt moments of anxiety without understanding where it came from. Michael was standing guard, raising his sword, pushing back what sought to draw near. But even angels, mighty as they are, cannot override your choices. They can warn you, protect you, whisper to you, steer you, but they cannot force your heart to awaken. That is why he has been trying to warn you for hours. Hours in your world, but movements that span deep into the spiritual realm. There are moments in life when heaven waits for a response. When God himself leans down to see if his child will turn, will listen, will slow down enough to feel the tug at their spirit. You are in such a moment right now. And the reason this moment is so charged, so heavy, so sacred, is because something in your destiny is about to shift. Heaven never stirs without preparing for a blessing, an intervention, or a divine redirection. Something ahead of you is too important to miss. Something behind you is too dangerous to carry forward. And Michael has been standing between what was and what shall be, crying out for your ears to open. Do you remember the moments you felt a strange pause inside your heart? The moments when you were about to make a decision and something in you hesitated? Or the moments when your emotions became overwhelming for no clear reason? These were not emotional accidents. These were spiritual alarms. They were the first signals of the warning Michael tried to deliver. He was shaking the atmosphere around your life, trying to get you to stop long enough to notice that the path you were being pulled toward was not the one heaven had prepared for you. My beloved child, the heavenly stirring is not a punishment. It is protection. It is love in its fiercest form. It is heaven refusing to let you slip through cracks created by distraction or pain. It is Michael standing on your behalf, sword lifted, wings spread, roaring against the darkness that tried to whisper into your life. You may not have understood it before, but now the message reaches you clearly. This is why you are here. This is why you found this message. Heaven is done with whispers. Heaven is now speaking plainly. My beloved child, close your heart to the noise around you for a moment and open it to the stillness within, for what I am about to reveal is not meant for hurried ears. It is meant for the soul that is finally ready to understand the truth behind the battle that has been unfolding around your life, the battle Archangel Michael himself has been fighting on your behalf. You may think that your days are ordinary, that your struggles are small in the grand scheme of the universe, but heaven has never seen you as small. Every step you take, every breath you release, every tear that falls from your eyes matters in the unseen realm. And Michael, the great warrior of God, has been standing in places you could not see, inhabiting spaces where shadows dare not cross, fighting battles that would have swallowed you if not for his presence. My child, let me tell you something that few understand. Spiritual warfare is not loud. It is not dramatic to the natural eye. It is quiet. It is hidden. It is fought in silence long before it ever appears in the physical world. And Michael, whose very name means who is like God, has been moving with a swiftness and intensity around you, because the enemy has seen something rising in you that you have not yet noticed in yourself. A destiny, a shift, a door, a turning. And whenever heaven prepares to elevate a soul, the darkness tries to intercept it through confusion, fear, distraction, discouragement, or sudden heaviness. The enemy does not need to destroy you to stop you. He only needs to distract you. He only needs to pull your eyes in the wrong direction. He only needs to make you ignore the warning long enough for the moment to pass. This is why Michael has been fighting so fiercely. This is why he has been trying to warn you for hours. The battle around your life intensified recently. A spiritual storm rose against you, one designed to pressure your mind, weaken your hope, and cloud your vision. You may have felt emotional waves hitting you without reason. One moment fine, the next moment overwhelmed. One moment confident, the next moment doubtful. These fluctuations were not natural. They were collisions of spiritual forces near you. And in each collision, Michael stood between the blow and your heart. Picture him for a moment. My beloved child, not as a distant figure from stories, but as the warrior who has walked beside you since the day you were born. Tall as a pillar of fire. Eyes burning with truth. Wings like the sound of rushing wind. A presence so powerful that when he steps forward, the darkness around you recoils. This is the one who has been shielding you. But even he, mighty as he is, cannot force you to hear what heaven is speaking. He can only fight the battles. He cannot make your heart respond. Heaven has watched you these past days, watched the confusion that tried to settle over your mind, watched the worries that tried to drown your strength, watch the enemy attempt to pull you into old patterns and old wounds. And Michael pushed back each attempt, striking with fury, demanding the shadows to retreat. But the enemy tried something different this time, not an attack of destruction, but an attack of distraction, hoping you would overlook the inner signals, hoping you would ignore the stirring in your spirit, hoping you would dismiss the very signs Michael placed before you. You felt some of them. You sensed the sudden uneasiness in rooms where you used to feel comfortable. You sensed the silence in moments that once felt peaceful. You sensed the strange heaviness when you were about to make decisions. These sensations were not your imagination, my child. They were Michael tugging at your spirit, trying to pull your attention upward, trying to turn your eyes toward heaven, trying to get you to pause long enough for the warning to reach your understanding. The battle in the unseen realm has been fierce. The enemy targeted areas of your life where you have been tired. He attempted to use your weariness as an open door. He tried to speak through discouragement. He tried to move through loneliness. He tried to whisper through pain you have not fully healed from. But whenever the darkness approached, Michael stood before it like a wall of fire. Each moment you felt strength, returning when you thought you had none left. That was him. Each moment you felt protected in a situation that should have gone wrong. That was him. Each moment you felt pushed to keep going when everything inside you wanted to stop. That was him. The battle has reached a turning point now. And that is why Michael's tears fell. Not because he is losing, but because he sees that this moment is critical for you. Heaven has done its part. The angels have fought their battles. The warnings have been sent. Now the next move belongs to you. For what comes next in your life cannot be done unless your heart awakens and aligns with what heaven is preparing. My beloved child, the unseen realm has been crying out for your attention. Michael has been fighting not just for your protection, but for your destiny, your clarity, your spiritual awakening. And now that you have heard this far, heaven is watching with hope. Stay with me, child of light. The message is not over. My beloved child, come closer once more, for this part carries a truth you have felt but never fully understood. There are moments in your life when heaven speaks softly, and there are moments when heaven speaks with urgency. What I tell you now belongs to the second kind. You have been receiving messages, signs, and nudges that were meant to guide your feet, redirect your choices, and keep you from stepping into places where your spirit would have been harmed. These messages did not come from your own thoughts. They were the whispers of Archangel Michael, the gentle warnings of a realm that sees far beyond what your human eyes can perceive. My beloved child, think back over the past days, weeks, or even months. Remember the moments when something inside you felt unsettled. A conversation that did not sit right. A plan that suddenly felt wrong. A path you were ready to take but something held you back. At the time, you may have thought it was fear, or doubt, or hesitation. But now you must know the truth. Those pauses were not emotional confusion. They were Michael's hands pulling you back. They were heaven's alerts ringing inside your soul. They were divine messages that you were not meant to ignore. But you did not realize. You kept moving. You brushed off the uneasiness. You convinced yourself you were overthinking. You ignored the heaviness in your spirit. You dismissed the sudden moments of clarity that came out of nowhere. And heaven watched with love, hoping you would slow down enough to notice the pattern. The warning was there. The message was there. But life around you was loud, and the struggles you faced were heavy, and you could not hear what heaven was trying to whisper. There were days when you woke up feeling like something was off, though nothing in the natural world was wrong. That was the message. There were nights when you could not sleep, though your body begged for rest. That was the message. There were moments when you felt a sudden sadness, or a sudden fear, or a sudden rush of anxiety that made no sense. That was the message. There were times when people around you acted strangely, or spoke words that cut you deeper than usual. That was the message. Every shift, every stirring, every unexplained emotion was heaven trying to speak. My child, you must understand this. Heaven often speaks before danger arrives. The message comes before the situation. The nudge comes before the fall. The stirring comes before the decision. You have not been ignoring God out of rebellion. You have been missing the signs because you were overwhelmed, distracted, and exhausted. Heaven knows this. That is why Michael did not stop trying. That is why he kept repeating the warnings in different ways, hoping one of them would catch your attention. But there is something deeper you must know. The message you have been ignoring is not only about danger. It is about direction. Heaven has been trying to reroute you. There is a path you were about to take that would have drained you more than it blessed you. There is a connection you were clinging to that was quietly damaging your spirit. There is a habit you were slipping back into without realizing its grip. There is a decision you were preparing to make that would have led you further from peace. Heaven saw it. Michael saw it. You did not. And so the warnings came. But they were not harsh. They were not frightening. They were gentle. Too gentle, perhaps, for the storm inside your mind to recognize them. Heaven was tapping on your heart while the world was pounding on your shoulders. And in that noise, the message was lost. But my beloved child, hear me clearly now. This is the moment you cannot ignore. This is the message that has chased you, circled you, whispered to you, stirred you, and now finally reached you. The reason Michael's tears fell was not because you failed. It was because heaven saw how close you came to missing something vital. Something meant for your good. Something meant for your healing. Something meant for your protection. Something meant for your destiny. Heaven never warns without purpose. Michael never pleads without reason. And you never stumble upon divine messages by chance. You are here because the message refused to let you go. The warning refused to remain unheard. The spiritual realm refused to stay silent any longer. My beloved child, listen with the full weight of your heart now, for what I am about to speak enters the most urgent part of this divine message. This is not a moment to drift away in thought. This is not a moment to let your mind wander. Heaven is speaking with the tone of finality, not because your time is ending, but because this chapter you are in cannot stay open any longer. The door before you is shifting. It is moving. It is preparing to close, not out of punishment, but because what is coming next requires you to step through a new opening. And this, my beloved child, is why this moment is called your final chance. Feel the air around you even now. Something inside you knows this part carries weight. Something knows that you are standing at the edge of two chapters, one behind you and one stretched out before you like a road you have not yet walked. Michael's tears, the heaviness you felt, the stirring in your spirit, all of it was heaven trying to stop you from missing this turning point. There are moments in your life when God waits for your yes. There are moments when He waits for your pause. There are moments when He waits for your attention. But then there are moments like this, moments when heaven leans so closely toward your soul that if you ignore it, you will feel the ache of what could have been. My beloved child, the door that is closing behind you is a door of old cycles, old wounds, old distractions, old battles you were never meant to keep fighting, old connections that drained you, old thoughts that broke you, old patterns that were slowly wrapping chains around your spirit. Heaven has been trying to cut those chains. Michael has been standing at the door, sword lifted, prepared to break what has been binding you. But he cannot move unless you do. The door behind you must close. And the only way it will close is if you respond now. You cannot carry yesterday into tomorrow. You cannot bring those old shadows into the new light God is preparing. That is why the warning came with such urgency. Not to frighten you, not to pressure you, but to awaken you before the moment passes. When God closes a door, it is because something on the other side is no longer good for your spirit. But when God opens a door, it is because something breathtaking is waiting. This moment is about both the closing and the opening. One must end so the other can begin. And my beloved child, though heaven is gentle, it is also firm when the timing is critical. You have reached the moment when hesitation will cost you clarity, when delay will cost you peace, when ignoring the whisper will mean carrying unnecessary weight into the next season. Heaven does not want that for you. Michael does not want that for you. And deep inside, neither do you. That is why your spirit felt pulled here. That is why you felt the tug inside. Heaven orchestrated this moment to reach you before the door closed without your awareness. Hear me now. If you walk through this moment with open eyes, your life will shift. Your spirit will strengthen. Your path will straighten. Your peace will grow. But if you brush this moment aside as just another message, another chance, another whisper, the regret will not come from punishment. It will come from missed blessing, from misdirection, from missed protection, from missed clarity. Heaven warns not to harm you, but to prevent you from harming your own future. My child, this is your final chance to surrender what has been weighing you down. Your final chance to let go of the burden heaven has been trying to lift. Your final chance to listen to the voice that has been calling your name through dreams, through emotions, through signs, through strange coincidences. Heaven is speaking now with love so strong it trembles. And it is asking for your response. Take this moment seriously. Honor it. Hold it in your soul. Because what is waiting for you beyond this moment is too precious to lose. And before I close this part, my beloved child, hear me with the gentleness of a father's heart. When heaven gives you a message that carries such urgency, when the spiritual realm goes to such lengths to reach you, your part is to let the message travel further. Not for vanity, not for numbers, but because someone else is standing at a door that is closing too. Share this message. Carry it forward. Let others feel what you have felt. Heaven uses willing hearts to spread warnings that save lives and destinies. When you support this message, when you uplift it, when you let others hear it, you become a vessel of the divine. You become a messenger of light. Do it as an act of obedience. Do it as a response to heaven's call. Do it because someone else's breakthrough may depend on your hands. My beloved child, let your heart rest gently in this moment, for what I am about to tell you is filled with hope. You have walked through the heaviness of warning, through the trembling of heaven's urgency, through the tears of Michael who has fought fiercely for your soul. But now, my child, we step into the light. Now we speak of what unfolds when you choose to obey, when you choose to listen, when you choose to turn your heart toward the voice that has been calling you. This part is not about fear. It is about promise. It is about restoration. It is about the blessings that heaven has been longing to release into your life the moment you finally said yes. When you obey now, when you align your heart with what heaven has been trying to tell you, the atmosphere around your life shifts instantly. The battles that once pressed on your shoulders begin to loosen their grip. What once felt heavy begins to lighten. The confusion that clouded your mind begins to clear like fog lifting at dawn. It does not mean that every problem disappears at once, but it does mean that heaven moves closer and your path begins to straighten in ways you may not even notice at first. Obedience opens the windows of your spirit, and the clarity begins to flow like fresh wind. My beloved child, there are blessings that have been held in place, waiting for your alignment. Heaven never withholds out of cruelty. Heaven waits for timing, for readiness, for willingness. And in the moment you respond, when you humble your heart, when you listen, when you choose to shift your direction, those blessings rush toward you with the speed of angels descending. You may begin to notice that opportunities which once resisted you suddenly open. People who were never meant for your journey quietly drift out of your life, making room for those who carry peace. Doors that were locked begin to loosen. Conversations begin to change. Even your thoughts begin to transform, becoming clearer, calmer, and more anchored. Obedience softens the soil of your spirit, making it ready for new seeds heaven has been longing to plant. Seeds of healing, seeds of restoration, seeds of courage, seeds of destiny, seeds of peace. The moment you say yes to heaven's warning, those seeds begin to grow. It may start with small changes, a sudden sense of direction, a burst of strength on a day you would usually feel weak, a moment of peace in the middle of a storm. These small moments are signs that heaven is now moving freely in your life without resistance. My child, when you obey now, you give Michael room to complete the battle he has been fighting. Angels fight fiercely, but they fight most effectively when your spirit agrees with heaven. When you align yourself with God's guidance, it strengthens the forces that protect you. Obedience is not only spiritual submission, it is spiritual empowerment. It pours strength into the arms of the angels who defend you. It multiplies the impact of their protection. It sharpens their swords. It widens the distance between you and the forces that once tried to pull you down. The moment you respond, you will notice the heaviness around your life begin to break. Patterns that once controlled you will weaken. Habits that change you will start to lose their power. Unhealthy attachments will dissolve. Emotional wounds will begin to close. You will wake up one day and realize that something inside you has changed. Something that once tormented your mind no longer has a voice. You will feel lighter, freer, steadier, more grounded than you have in a long time. Obedience not only removes danger, it opens destiny. It breaks cycles. It unlocks chapters that were sealed. There is a future heaven has written for you, a future filled with purpose, strength, clarity, and divine companionship. And when you obey now, that future begins to unfold. You step into alignment with who you were meant to be, not who life tried to shape you into through pain and disappointment. You begin to walk in spiritual authority. Your prayers grow stronger. Your discernment sharpens. Your peace becomes deeper. Your confidence becomes rooted not in yourself alone, but in the one who guides you. And my beloved child, heaven rejoices when you obey. Do you know that? Do you know that the moment your heart responds, the moment you turn your attention toward God, the angels celebrate? They rejoice because the child they protect has stepped back onto the path meant for them. And Michael, yes, even Michael, lifts his head, wipes his tears, and stands taller when you obey. For he sees that the battle he fought was not in vain. He sees that the warnings he carried have finally reached your soul. You are not alone, my child. You never were. And when you obey now, you step into the fullness of the protection, guidance, and blessings that have been waiting for you. My beloved child, before we step deeper, I must ask you to steady yourself. What I am about to speak is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you, to give you sight where there was once blindness, to give you understanding where there was once confusion. Heaven always offers hope first, but it does not hide truth. A loving father warns, not because he wishes to see his child tremble, but because he refuses to watch his child walk unknowingly into harm. And so, my beloved child, this part must be spoken gently, but firmly, with the same sincerity Archangel Michael carried when tears formed in his eyes. There is a spiritual consequence to ignoring divine warnings. Not punishment, not wrath, not curses, but consequence, the natural result of walking without the guidance that heaven tried to give. When Michael cried, it was because he saw what would happen if you continued moving forward without listening, without pausing, without stepping back to examine what was happening inside your spirit. He saw the path you were leaning toward, the decisions forming in your mind, the connections you were trusting, the wounds you were avoiding. And he knew where those paths would lead. My beloved child, the danger of ignoring this warning is not that God will abandon you. He never will. It is not that Michael will stop protecting you. He never does. The danger is that you will continue walking toward situations that drain you, relationships that distract you, choices that confuse you, and environments that weaken you. Ignoring heaven's message means stepping into storms you were never meant to enter. It means carrying weights you were never meant to bear. It means attaching yourself to people or paths that do not carry your future, your calling, or your peace. If you ignore this warning, you may find yourself repeating old cycles again, Cycles you thought you escaped, cycles that tired your spirit, cycles that made you question your worth, cycles that drained your strength drop by drop. Heaven was trying to break those cycles for you. Heaven was trying to shift you into a season of clarity. But ignoring the warning means stepping back into patterns that will cost you more than they once did. The price gets heavier each time a divine nudge is ignored. If you ignore this warning, you may find that the small uneasiness you once felt grows louder, heavier, more persistent. What begins as a whisper becomes a weight. What begins as a tug becomes exhaustion. What begins as a sign becomes spiritual fog. And you, my beloved child, deserve better than living under a cloud heaven tried to clear. Ignoring the warning does not mean calamity will strike immediately. No. Heaven is patient, grace is wide, mercy is deep. But what it does mean is that you may drift further from the peace that belongs to you. You may wander into confusion that could have been avoided. You may struggle with decisions that could have been simple. You may lose time, energy, and joy to battles that were never part of your divine assignment. And then there is the deepest sorrow of all, the regret not of punishment, but of realization. The moment when your spirit suddenly understands, when your eyes finally open, when you look back and say, I felt the warning, and I ignored it. I saw the sign, and I brushed it aside. I felt the shift, but I kept going. My child, this is the regret heaven wants to spare you from. This is the regret Michael wept over, because he saw how close you were to missing something heaven had prepared, something precious, something healing, something necessary for the journey ahead. Ignoring the warning also weakens your spiritual authority. Not because God withdraws it, but because you stop stepping into it. When you tune out heaven's voice, your confidence dissolves, your discernment grows dull, and your spiritual footing becomes unstable. You become vulnerable to the enemy's whispers, not because you are weak, but because you are not aligned with the guidance meant to guard your mind. But hear me, my beloved child, even these consequences come wrapped in love. They come not to destroy you, but to redirect you. They come as gentle corrections, as invitations to return. Yet the road back becomes longer and more tangled when the warning is ignored. And so heaven speaks now through this message, through this voice, through this moment, because you are loved far too deeply to walk blind. You were not meant for confusion. You were not meant for heaviness. You were not meant for cycles that steal your joy. You were meant for light. You were meant for clarity. You were meant to rise. My beloved child, draw nearer now, for this part is not merely a message to your mind, but a revelation meant for your spirit. I want you to feel the nearness of heaven, the closeness of divine protection, the warmth of a presence that has been beside you long before you ever realized it. For in this very moment, as you read these words, Archangel Michael is not far away in some unreachable realm. He is standing beside you. Yes, beside you. Not in imagination, not in symbolism, but in truth. For angels do not watch from a distance. They stand close to the ones they guard. My beloved child, if your eyes could open for a single moment into the unseen realm, if the veil were pulled back even an inch, you would be overwhelmed by the sight before you. You would see a warrior whose very being radiates with the fire of God. You would see a presence so mighty that darkness trembles when he moves. You would see the gleam of a sword forged by divine authority and carried with unwavering purpose. You would see wings that stretch like the breath of the wind across the heavens, wings that have shielded you more times than you know. And right now, that warrior stands near you. He has been there in your quiet moments, in your fears, in your loneliness, in your uncertainty. He has been there when you felt watched over without knowing why. He has been there when you sensed a presence in the room, when you felt a sudden calm after crying, when you felt strength return out of nowhere. My child, those moments were not coincidences. They were glimpses of Michael's nearness, his protective shadow covering you when danger tried to approach. He does not speak with human lips, but your spirit has heard him. In the moments when you felt, I must stop, or something isn't right, that was him. In the moments when you felt courage rise from a place you did not recognize, that was him. In the moments when your tears were met with a peace that wrapped around your heart, that was him. He has been standing beside you, shielding you, guiding you, and waiting for your spirit to awaken to his presence. My beloved child, do not imagine that you walk through your life alone. Even when people abandoned you, heaven did not. Even when those you trusted failed you, heaven did not. Even when you felt forgotten, heaven remembered. Michael has walked with you through days you thought would break you. He has stood at your bedside in the nights you felt utterly alone. He has guarded you during battles you didn't even know were happening. He has lifted you when despair tried to crush you. He has whispered strength into your soul when your heart was weary. And now, in this moment, he stands with a different expression, one of hope. Hope that you are finally listening. Hope that you are beginning to understand the magnitude of heaven's love for you. Hope that you are ready to step into the destiny heaven has prepared. Michael is not only a warrior, he is a witness to your life. He has seen every silent tear, every hidden heartbreak, every quiet prayer you whispered into the darkness. He has carried your name before the throne. He has fought for you in places your feet never stepped. He has guarded blessings for you that darkness tried to steal. The reason he has been urging you, warning you, even weeping over you, is because he knows what heaven has written for you. He has seen the plans you have not yet glimpsed. He has seen the chapter you are about to enter. And he longs for you to walk into it fully awake, fully protected, fully aligned with heaven's will. My child, if you could feel the light surrounding you right now, if you could sense the shield that stands between you and the forces that once targeted your soul, you would understand that you are not fragile. You are not forgotten. You are not battling alone. You are covered. You are defended. You are seen. You are valued by realms greater than this world. Michael stands beside you now, not with tears, but with renewed strength. For your heart is opening. Your spirit is awakening. You are beginning to see what you had overlooked. You are stepping into understanding. And heaven rejoices at this awakening. My beloved child, settle your heart gently now, for this next part touches the deepest chambers of your soul. This is where heaven leans closest, where divine compassion softens even the sternest warnings, where truth and tenderness intertwine like threads of gold. For what you must understand in this moment is simple, yet profound. The warning Michael has been trying to deliver is not separate from the cry of your own heart. In fact, my beloved child, the very thing you have been praying for, weeping for, silently yearning for, is tied to this message. The answer you have been waiting for has been trying to reach you. There are prayers you prayed that no human ear has heard, prayers whispered in the dark, prayers spoken only in your thoughts, prayers that came out as tears because words failed you. Heaven heard every one of them. Heaven gathered them. Heaven treasured them. And heaven moved because of them. You may have felt forgotten, but you were never overlooked. You may have felt unheard, but your cries were carried before the King. You may have felt alone, but angels stood guard while your heart broke in the quiet. My beloved child, the warning you have been hearing is not a rejection. It is an answer. Heaven is not pulling something away from you. Heaven is protecting you for the sake of what you have been praying for. You see only what is immediate, what is in front of you, what your eyes can grasp. But heaven sees the future that awaits you, the path unfolding beyond the present moment, the connections, the blessings, the healing, the opportunities that are approaching. And heaven knew that if you continued on a certain path, if you ignored the stirring, if you dismissed the signs, it would place you out of alignment with the very things you have been longing for. This is why Michael wept. Not because you failed, not because you disappointed heaven, but because he saw how close you were to missing the very blessing you have been waiting for. The job you asked for, the relationship you prayed for, the peace you longed for, the healing you begged for, the clarity you pleaded for, the breakthrough you've whispered about night after night. Heaven was moving it toward you, but there was something in your steps that threatened to pull you away from it. And so the warning came, not to frighten you, but to guide you back into alignment. You have been asking God why certain things were delayed. You have wondered why certain doors did not open. You have asked why some people walked out of your life. You have questioned why you felt stopped, halted, or blocked in ways that confused you. But my child, not all delays are denials. Many delays are divine protection. Many closed doors are answered prayers in disguise. And many endings are the beginnings you asked heaven for. You just did not recognize them at first. The warning was heaven's way of preparing you for the very answer you've been crying for. The stirring you felt was the shifting of your destiny. The heaviness you sensed was heaven rerouting your spirit. The uneasiness in your heart was not fear. It was discernment trying to awaken. The confusion you felt was the signal that you were standing at the edge of change. Michael's message was not simply about danger. It was about preparation, alignment, direction, awakening. He was trying to clear the path so the blessing could reach you without obstruction. My beloved child, listen closely. The answer to your prayer is closer than you think. It is not distant. It is not slow. It is not withheld. It is approaching. It is unfolding. It is gathering momentum. But for it to reach you fully, you must be in the right place spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. You cannot step into a new blessing with an old mindset. You cannot enter a new chapter with old distractions. You cannot embrace heaven's answer while holding on to the thing heaven is trying to free you from. That is why this warning is sacred. It is not a threat. It is not fear. It is a doorway. Through it, the answer flows. Through it, the blessing approaches. Through it, your prayers are fulfilled. You asked heaven to move. Heaven has moved. Now heaven is asking you to follow. My beloved child, come close for the final time in this holy message, for what I speak now is not merely the end of a script. It is a blessing, a sealing, a final breath of heaven whispered over your spirit. Let your heart open wide. Let your soul become still. Let everything around you fade for a moment, because heaven is leaning low to place a final touch upon you, a final word that settles everything you have heard, everything you have felt, everything that has awakened inside you. My beloved child, you have journeyed through warnings, through revelations, through tenderness, through battlefields unseen, through the nearness of angelic presence, through the unfolding of your own destiny. You have walked with me through tears that were not your own, Michael's tears, born from urgency, born from love, born from the fierce desire to see you protected and aligned. And now, after all that heaven has spoken, after all that Michael has fought to reveal, we arrive at the closing of this message, the moment where your spirit must choose how it will walk forward. You are not the same as you were when you began. Your eyes have seen something. Your spirit has awakened to something. Your heart has understood something that had been stirring beneath the surface of your life for far too long. You now stand not in confusion, but in clarity. Not in darkness, but in light. Not in uncertainty, but in divine awareness. You have been entrusted with insight from the heavens themselves. And now, my beloved child, the final invitation is simple. Choose to walk forward with reverence, with intention, with obedience, with awareness that you are not alone but fiercely protected. Heaven has spoken to you. Michael has touched your life with his presence. God has leaned near to warn you, to guide you, to awaken you, to redirect you. And now it is your turn to respond. Do not let this moment pass like dust in the wind. Do not let these words fade as if they were merely a story or a poetic thought. They are living. They are breathing. They are meant to sit within you like a spark that becomes a flame. Carry this message with you into your next decision, your next conversation, your next moment of silence. Let it lead you. Let it guard you. Let it remind you that heaven does not waste warnings. Heaven does not speak lightly. Heaven speaks because your life matters. Your destiny matters. Your heart matters. My beloved child, I want you to picture Michael now, no longer weeping, no longer trembling with urgency, but standing tall, wings unfurled, sword lifted, watching over you with renewed strength. He stands not as a messenger now, but as a guard, a protector, a witness to the transformation happening within you. He sees that your heart has turned. He sees that your spirit has listened. He sees that the warning was not ignored. And because of this, your path ahead shifts. Your journey strengthens. Your future brightens. Heaven rejoices when a heart responds. Heaven celebrates when a soul awakens. Heaven marks this moment in your story as a turning point, a moment when destiny realigned, when protection deepened, when blessings began to move unhindered toward your life. And now, before this message closes, hear this with the deepest reverence. As you have received, so must you give. The same way heaven reached you, heaven may reach another through you. When you lift this message up, when you let it reach others, when you allow it to travel beyond your own heart, you become a vessel of divine purpose. You become part of the very work heaven is doing on the earth. Consider it a holy duty, a gentle act of obedience, a simple offering back to the one who guarded you. Let others be warned. Let others be awakened. Let others be strengthened. Heaven moves through those who are willing. My beloved child, take these words, cradle them in your spirit, and walk forward with peace. For you are seen. You are known. You are protected. You are guided. You are loved far more deeply than you understand. And now, with the full authority of heaven's compassion and the tenderness of a father's heart, I seal this message over your life. Amen.